Okay, this is the, well, it's our daily highlight video from our live trading chat room, but it's also going to be our follow-up video. We sent out ENER as a free pick last night, so I'm going to follow up on that first, and then we'll go over our other calls. Some really good stuff today, some huge gainers. So we'll cover all of them, but I'm going to start with ENER since that was our free pick. And this is what ENER looked like using 15-minute candles from the last few days. And you can see the base. And we said this in the video last night. That base at 510 was interesting. And then this morning it put in 510 as its 5-minute high, so I called it over the microphone in chat 511. Worst case stop below this base. Or actually, I'm sorry, worst case stop low of the day. I'll go to show you the daily chart in a minute, or today's chart. But 511 was my first entry, and we also had another potential catalyst of 515 and 524, if you remember from the video last night. Let me just go to fives from today, kind of scroll over there. First 5 minutes it hit 510, so I bought some at 511. I added at 515 and even added a few more at 524, so I had a nice chunk. And then over the next 20 minutes or so, it popped to 538. Now keep in mind, a 511 entry to 538, that's a what, 20-something cents. Every nickel is 1% on a $5 stock, so you're talking 4 or 5% move. We certainly don't hold that forever, and as we teach, we scale out whenever something's moving in our favor. Now, let me throw the S&P on here. If you remember the ENER chart I just showed you, ENER was hitting new highs about this time of day. This is the opening candle in the S&P, and then the S&P just fell off a cliff there. So I didn't want to fight that too. Once the market started, I mean, look what the S&P did, and this was the opening 5-minute candle. So I didn't want to fight that. Even with that kind of sell-off, I had a nice trade in ENER because we scale out into that first pop and go to a break-even stop on the rest if you like to scale out in parts. But just couldn't fight the SPY there. Having said that, I still want to show you some real nice trades today. And this one is a short, BMC. Opened up here. This is the opening candle today. Called BMC as a short. Get my arrow going here. As a short right here. Worst case stop right there. I'll give you the numbers. The short entry was 40.86. The worst case stop only 16 cents above, and it never got hit. You can see it bounced a little bit here, but then it was off to the races to the downside. I told everybody somewhere around here I was covering half, and I covered the other half down here. Anytime I'm in something short and I get some beautiful sell-off that looks like a waterfall, that's when I cover. So covered half here and half here. Initial short there. That was really nice, but that wasn't the highlight of the day. Let me bring up the highlight of the day was the one we sent out as a free pick the other day, our first intraday pick. It never did follow through, but today, and this was trading very lightly up until we discovered this tight base. One of our members alerted me to BSDM. They know we've been watching it anyway, and the early high on BSDM was 334. And then I had this tight base when they alerted me. I said 331 is a base break and the high of the day, so I'm going to take some 331. I'm going to add, if it breaks the high of the day, 335. And I'll take today's monster move out of the picture and just show you what I was looking at. And we kind of highlighted this in the free pick we sent out the other day. 331 was the call today, right above this base here, okay? But if you look to the left, you had another high of 336, and I can't remember if that was 340 something maybe. Let me scroll out a little more. You had what we call stacked catalysts, right? You had another recent high that, if broken, had a good chance to get you through this one. And then you had, there's the 346. And if I scroll out even farther to the left, you had that crazy day. You'll see it here in just a second. There it is. I better go to like 60s. You had that crazy day where it traded 27 million shares and traded up to 358. So anyway, back to today's candles. You had these stacked catalysts to the left below 358 that, if broken, had a good chance to get you up. And I told everybody you could get up to 358 and get through that, and who knows, probably off to the races. And so this 331 entry couldn't have been better. 331, and then as it started to go, you could just see everyone that's been following BSDM, you could just watch them all piling in, saying, oh, it's finally going, and made it all the way to 408. So incidentally, our stop on that, 4 cents below, 331 entry, stop 4 cents below, never got hit, and it moved up 23%. So even though I typically will not call something that's typically a low volume stock, as I said to our members in the chat room, I will call one that on one day put in a 27 million share day, okay, and then has held up ever since, and then had a nice kind of flag pattern with the high from the 27 million share day just to the left of this flag pattern. So had everything stacked in our favor, and it really felt like we were the first ones in that one today before everybody piled in, which is always fun. A couple others to show you, a couple of the highlights from today. RDC was selling off hard here today, right here, and I called this using a method that we teach at 30.08. So I'll put an arrow somewhere around there, maybe a little higher, right about there. Worst case stop, 12 cents below. And from 30.08 it made it to over 30.40. Again, not a huge move, but a 12 cent risk, and we did catch this thing within 12 cents of the low of this little spike down here. So it gave a nice bounce. And again, these aren't intended to hold all day, they're intended to sell into the bounce. So that was a nice one. We did catch ERTS, Electronic Arts, within 5 minutes of the high of the day. We called this as a potential short right there, worst case stop right there. So we caught that within 5 minutes of the high day. Again, it wasn't a huge gain, but it still worked out nice. FUQI, we called this one today right there. I did not mean to do that. Right there, worst case stop, low of day, which is about a dime risk, and you can see a nice pop there. Again, nothing huge, but real low risk stuff, and some real nice follow through. And I'm sure there's others, but I'm going to wrap this up. That's a brief highlight of today, and we'll send out another highlight video tomorrow night with what we do in chat tomorrow. So have a great night. We'll talk to you later.